We are going to be breaking down in a deep dive all his animations and hot spots, Pink Diamond Jimmy Butler. And I was going to sell this card back, but I might have to keep him because he's my good friend Brian Unique Mazique's favorite basketball player, his favorite Chicago Bull of all time. And as a tribute to him, I think I might just have to keep him on the squad in case we ever do wind up playing. But the reason we are on this screen instead of the freestyle is I wanted to compare him directly with Kawhi Leonard. These are two very, very similar cards. They're both taller than their position generally is. Jimmy is even taller than Kawhi at 6'8". They're both elite defenders and pretty good offensive players. I would even say better than pretty good. They're both great, great shooters, right? So, and they both got 86 ball control. So I wanted to look at them head to head and see if there was any separation because this Kawhi card is excellent. This Kawhi card, in my opinion, is at the very top of the meta as far as two-way cards go. If you have Kawhi and your opponent has certain other cards, you feel very comfortable with Kawhi defending them. And Kawhi is an outstanding offensive player. I played against a guy in Triple Threat Online. I might have that gameplay for you guys. And he was posting up with Kawhi and doing fadeaways, and he was really, really good with it. I won that game, so he can hold that L. But Kawhi is excellent offensively, and I wanted to look at them head to head and see how they measure up. So here we go. So driving layup, Jimmy wins out. Jimmy wins out in the draw foul, but Kawhi also has excellent draw foul. Kawhi does win out a little bit in the post moves and the post fade, so that's worth note because, like I said, they were using that 88 post fade against me to great effect, even against taller players. They were really good with the post fade. With Jimmy with an 82. That might be enough for him not to be as reliable with the post fade, so it's worth noting. Kawhi is also a better mid-range shooter, which I did. There's another thing he did. I took away the 3 from him, and he had a couple of mid-range shots, moving mid-range shots with Kawhi, so that wasn't his favorite. Jimmy is a better three-point shooter. Free throw, they're virtually equal. You know my policy. If it's above 75, you should be able to hit every one if you know the animation. Driving dunk is relatively equal. Ball handle is equal. Jimmy's passing is better. Not much better, but it is a little bit better, which might be a little bit of a factor throwing oops and stuff like that. But they're very close there. Perimeter defense, Jimmy's is actually better. Kawhi has much better interior defense. So I would say, right off the bat, Kawhi is probably the better triple threat player. Doesn't mean he's a better overall player, but because of the post-ups, because of the mid-range, because of the interior defense, he's probably a bit better of a triple threat character. And he's a better rebounder. So, yeah, I would say Kawhi wins out in that respect. I'm not saying Jimmy's better in 5v5. They might be a little closer to equal in 5v5 because I don't think Kawhi, if you're posting up with Kawhi in 5v5, something's probably going wrong with whoever your main post-up threat is. Jimmy has a better vertical, which could also affect his rebounding. So that might actually, and he's a better offensive rebounder. So that's very interesting. So that evens them out a little bit because vertical has such a dramatic effect on your rebounding. The hustle is in Jimmy's favor. Lateral quickness is relatively equal. All right, so these cards are very, very, very close. The overall thing I would say, Kawhi is a better interior defender, and he's a better mid-range player. And Jimmy's also a little bit lower in strength. So hopefully that clears up the comparison from a statistical standpoint. So now we're going to look at a comparison from a badge standpoint. Now, they don't order these badges properly, so we're going to be a little all over the place here. So let's see what Jimmy does have Hall of Fame. He's got quick first step, catch and shoot, which is not super relevant because his stats are so high. Catch and shoot doesn't really affect your stats a whole lot once you go over a 90, 95 in your shooting, and Jimmy's up in that realm. So they both got Hall of Fame Intimidator, Pick Dodger, Clamps. But Kawhi does have the Hall of Fame defensive leader, and Jimmy does not. So that is a factor. That's a big factor. I mean, not a big factor, but it's a factor. They both have the Hall of Fame Intimidator. So they should be pretty close. What about Contact Finisher? They both have Hall of Fame Contact Finisher. Kawhi has the Pogo Stick on Hall of Fame. Jimmy has it on Gold. Okay. So I would say Jimmy is probably a very slightly, and when I say slightly, like I'm not even going to say worse, but he's Kawhi with just a little bit of a downgrade on defense. But keep in mind he is an inch taller, so that might balance this all out and make them completely equal. You know, he's an inch taller. All right, so we're going to very close to Kawhi. If you didn't get Kawhi, or he's overpriced for you, and if you can get Jimmy for cheaper, you might want to go with Jimmy. So now we're going to go into freestyle, and we're going to look at Jimmy's moves. Very close cards, though. Like, they're insanely close. I do think the mid-range is a little bit of a factor. Brandon Bowles said, you think it'll run in Stevenson and Fields and triple threat online? Can I suggest one more budget player? Marcus Morris. Yeah, throw that Marcus Morris in there and have fun. All right. So, in fact, while Kawhi is here, we're going to just get a good look at his character model and try to keep your eye on. Now, we know Jimmy has higher hair, but let's see if we can see any size difference with Kawhi and Jimmy. All right. So, we're going to sub him right out. Yeah, Jimmy is a little bigger. Jimmy's definitely a little bigger. Sometimes they write sizes on there and it's not this, you know, it doesn't matter. Jimmy is very slightly noticeably bigger, but he doesn't have the biggest wingspan in the game. He has kind of little arms. He doesn't have big gargantuan arms, so that's also a factor. All right, so let's get into Jimmy's hotspots and animations. As you can see, hotspots are absolutely stellar, and his shot release is stellar. I shot around with him. I greened a bunch. I haven't mastered his release because I just got the card, but I've shot around with him enough to tell you that the release is very, very good. It's definitely on the top end of releases. It's quick. It's smooth. Feels great. Goes in a lot. He hits whites. He's there with everything. So, you know, I'm a little early on his release. Like I said, I haven't mastered it, and that's not what this stream is about. It's just about determining whether or not it's a good shot. It is a good shot. All right, let's look at his leaner. He's got the straight up and down leaner. We're going to look at his hop shots. Hop shots are okay. Oddly enough, Lance Stevenson has much better hop jumpers. Look at his step back real quick. Ooh, nice step back animation. Really nice step back animation. That's insane. So now we got to go back and look at his. Does he have Space Creator? Because that's important. Yeah, he has Gold Space Creator. So you're going to get ankle breakers off of that, guys. He doesn't have ankle breaker. That's interesting. But he does have Hall of Fame quick first step, which is huge for this character. All right. So this move right here could be a money move for you because you're combining Space Creator with that and then a quick first step to launch out of it. And at his size, with his level of shooting, that's going to be great. So that's already a great tool for him. But speaking of great tools, let's look at his ball handles. So here is his momentum. Pretty standard. Moves him well. Not a bad momentum. Some people's momentum doesn't move them enough, but he has a good look at his head. You see how his head moves all the way to the side? That allows you to do certain things out of it, you know? So that's good. Good momentum. Double momentum. Solid. Nice killer crossover from Jimmy. That's excellent. Excellent killer crossover from Jimmy. Really nice. Wow. That's pretty great. Very impressive. So I'm going to, spoiler alert, let's get this in right in the beginning of the video. You said you like Kawhi's better. Yeah, I probably like Kawhi's a little bit better because Kawhi's shot feels cheesy. Jimmy's shot feels really good, but Kawhi's feels like broke almost. Like, why is this shot so good? That's why I didn't sell the card. The shot was just too great. All right, so here's the big thing with Jimmy Butler. He's got an elite step back, guys. He's got a park step back. So just to break it down for y'all, when people like to push up on you because 2K doesn't know how to make defense. So the way they compensate for that is people just mush their character against you, they dry hump you, and they try to stop you from moving. Right? So the number one tool against that, the number one tool is just to step back. Get off me. Right? And off of the step back, you can launch in either direction. Or you can shoot. So step back into the shot. You see it cancels animation frames. And then you got step back into the quick first step. And you've also got step back into the crossover, right? So, and out of that crossover, you can do other things. So having an elite step back is like great when you have an elite step back. And he has an elite step back. We've been through a lot of cards. I haven't seen an elite step back probably since either Lowry or Westbrook, whichever one I did more recently. So he has an elite step back. You see it's very quick. The ball moves backwards first. I always talk to you guys about how the dots show up. Look, when the dots show up, the ball is already moving backwards. Most other characters, those dots show up, a beat happens, and then the animation happens. And that's really bad. That will get you ripped. When people are mashing square, that'll get you ripped. With this character, I mean, if you're protecting the dribble, you know, you can go right into the step back animation. You let go of protect, go right into the step back. They don't have a window to take the ball away from you, right? And keep in mind, you can behind the back right out of this protect animation as well. So you have a lot of options, you know, behind the back immediately out of it. So when you have this move right here, this is one of the most important moves in the game. And honestly, I was going to sell Jimmy back, but that move is so good for him. I'm going to have to play with him a while and see how much I like this move, because it's really strong. I can't stress enough how strong of a move that is. So Jimmy has an S tier step back, which changes the game. All right? So he does not have the teleport, which is another game changer, right? So the behind the back teleport is basically... let me get somebody who does have it so I can show you guys, for those of you who don't know. This is another move I've used in triple threat a lot. I think Marbury has it. I haven't been playing with Marbury, but he should have it. So basically, he did not do it at all. I don't think Marbury has. Does he not have it? I don't remember from my deep dive. Do you guys remember if he has the behind the back teleport? Nah, he's not doing it. Let me see. Please tell me I still have Lynn on here. Well, Stevenson has it. Here we go. The new GOAT, Lance Stevenson, has it. So the behind the back teleport is basically you're going away from the rim and you do that behind the back teleport, right? So let me tell you something straight up, all right? All of, like, people, I'm not naming names because I'm not going at anybody, but it's just a philosophical thing, right? Some people don't think because dribbling is nerfed that it's not good anymore. That's not true. And they think you can just off-ball somebody. This is the off-ball antidote right here. Right? They try to off-ball you, behind the back teleport. All the computer's dead. They have to help. Literally, 100% of the time I've done that to the CPU, it has worked. 100% of the time. They don't know what this move is. Like, the reason the computer is so good defensively is because they know what your controller's doing. They don't know what that move is. That move works all the time. Right? So when a character has that, it's a big deal. Jimmy doesn't have that. Let's look at what Jimmy has instead of that. Because just because he doesn't have it, doesn't mean that it's an irrelevant situation for him. So you're going away from the rim, right? Now, standard is to go behind the back and shoot, which is viable. If they're not chasing you, the speed of this behind the back into the shot and the fact that he has range extender is a major factor, right? So that is your first option, and that's why the teleport works in the first place. Now, he has this kind of hippity hop version. It's not as quick, it's not as glitchy, but it should still be moderately effective. Now, the fact that, you know, he has the cool step back means that he has other options. So it's a mixed bag with his animations. He has some really good stuff, some not so great stuff. Let's look at his behind the back. Very good behind the back. Similar to Lance, he doesn't slow down at all. All right, he just keeps going. Very minor slowdown, I should say. Let me see. He might have two different slowdowns. It almost feels like he slows down a little slightly to the left and not at all to the right. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like to the left there's a very minor slowdown, very minor, and to the right there's none. It's equal. It's equal. Very, very, very minor slowdown depending on when you explode out of the move. And actually, his shooter's behind the back, he cancels out of that with very little hesitation. Let me see. Because I just did it where he did the normal behind the back, and he just kept going. So it probably depends on what frame you try to run out of this. But yeah, there it is. So if you activate Hall of Fame quick first step after this behind the back, he can explode out of that too. This is just the regular behind the back. The shooter's behind the back. So if you're behind a screen and you do that, you can pull right up into a shot, right? So we've seen that in the 250 tournament. You know, you can cancel frames out of that. It's very effective. But with him, he can explode out of that with that Hall of Fame quick first step. So that's another advantage for Jimmy that you know, I should let you guys know about. All right, so let's get into his full court dribbles. Bad between the legs. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad between the legs. Let's look at it again. Yeah, he can't chain it. Yeah, his between the legs is F tier. Never do it. The one thing that's good about it is it moves him completely horizontally, so you can use it to get threes. All right. Oh, and that reminds me, there's one dribble we forgot to look at, a very important dribble, which is his hesitation. So Jimmy has the shooter's hesitation. You see? So he wants to shoot after his hezi. And it puts him into range extender range. I don't love his hezi. I don't like his hezis at all, to be honest with you. Now he does have the Hall of Fame quick first step, so he can launch out of it okay, but that's a lot of time for your opponent to react. That's a lot of time, a lot of animation frames on his hesitation, so I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest with you. His regular between the legs is good out of his hesitation. You see there's a massive speed boost out of that, so it's not worthless. It's not a worthless hesitation, but just keep that in mind when using the character. Out of that hesitation, I would either shoot or go between the legs. It doesn't give you all of the glitchy options, which is fine, but let me tell you something. I've been using that against human beings in every game mode, and those glitchy options are really, really, really effective. That super fast hezi that Lance Stephenson has, that the change of direction that also Lance Stephenson has, those are really great. With Jimmy, he's telling you either he's shooting, he's going the same direction very slowly, and pulling back up into a shot, or he's coming over with it between the legs. I wouldn't advise doing anything else with Jimmy. I think everything else is going to be just too slow. All right, let's get back to the full court dribbles. Guys, please hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. His hesitation behind the back is not the best. It's very horizontal. Again, good for shooting, not good for dribbling and going to the basket and changing direction. Let's see his cross. Oh, Jimmy, you need a crossover, buddy. Give me one full court dribble that's good. See his double? No, he's got a bad crossover animation. So I think this is probably Jimmy's big weakness, is that he's just not... In transition, he's a straight line player. Let's see his in and out. He's got a really nice in and out. Really nice in and out. Let's look at his in and out into the cross. Left stick cross, not super great. Let me see his hesitation into the left stick cross. That could save him. Okay, oof, thank God. Jimmy had me worried. Jimmy was about to head to the auction house, because I do not like cards that are very predictable in transition. I like to be able to do things in transition, to change directions, go the same direction, pull up and shoot, start a build around series. Yeah, I might do that. Y'all tell me cards y'all want to see me do a build around, and I'll get into it. All right, so Jimmy full court, his hezi off the left stick is good, really good actually. Like that left stick crossover is outstanding. It's actually, I would put it in the S class, to be honest with you. So that's the saving grace for Jimmy. You don't need every move to be good. You only need one of them to be good. So with Jimmy, if you're in transition, my personal suggestion is you want a hezi. It pulls him into a directly straight up and down shot, which is awesome. He stops almost on the line, which I can't say enough about that. That's super elite that he does that, because sometimes people walk forward too much, and his hesitation actually stops him, right? You see that? It stops him completely cold, which is outstanding. So he has that, and then he has the amazing step back that he can mix up off of that. And then your other options are off of that hezi. You can keep going in the same direction. Boom. Very nice explosion out of that. Or you can cross over out of that with the left stick. Left stick, hold turbo, crossover. So Jimmy has full court options. He's not a bad full court character. He's just a limited full court character. Full court, hesitation, left stick crossover, hesitation, pull up, hesitation, step back into a dribble setup, or hesitation into explosion. That's what you want to be doing. All right, so let's see. What else do we have? I think, does that wrap it up for Jimmy? We checked out his leaner. We checked out everything else. We gave some opinions overall. I think he's a great card. The nice thing with him and Kawhi is you can obviously play them together and have an elite defensive backcourt. Jimmy has some elite animations. The number one being he has the elite step back, which is just too good. Too good on the step back. This is what I would use for the most part when playing with Jimmy Butler. And if you're going to have one tool that's just downright elite, this is one of the ones that you want to have, because it's very hard to defend. Like, you don't have to do a lot, You step back. Is he going to shoot? Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? Step back, drive, quick first step, snatch back, go again, step back. Like, he's just all day with it. Behind the back. He can, and then that regular behind the back, he has no slowdown. This is a very, very good card. I would honestly probably put him a very, very small notch behind Kawhi overall. But if you play into Jimmy's style, with the step backs, with the hesitations, the full court hezi, with how good his stop is with this full court hezi, right up into the jumper. If you play into his strengths, I think he is right about as good as Kawhi. The two things in Kawhi's favor, actually it's three. Kawhi's a slightly better mid-range player. In fact, I would say Kawhi's like a half of a letter grade better in the mid-range, which is fairly significant at this level of cards when they're this close. They are close, but Kawhi is better in the mid-range. He can regularly hit those leaners and fadeaways at a very, very high clip. Jimmy just at a very high clip, not very, very high. So if that matters to you, something to keep in mind, Jimmy should be very good in the mid-range. Kawhi is elite in the mid-range. And I'm including the post-fade in that. You know, Kawhi's post-fade is legit. Jimmy's post-fade is not bad, but I would say his is more about mismatches. And he is 6'8", so that's a factor. He's taller than Kawhi, which is, you know, something. But Kawhi, that post-fade is absolutely money with him. So those are the major differences. Kawhi, slightly better interior defender, 1 inch shorter, slightly better in the mid-range. Kawhi has generally good animations all around, whereas with Jimmy, he has some elite animations, but some animations are not the best. But I think the elite animations that he has are so good that you can just ignore the ones that aren't good. All right. Oh yeah. One last thing. Let's look at his dunking and layup animations. I'm surprised you guys didn't remind me of that. I have a live stream for a reason, guys. That is a horrible layup. I hope to never see that in a real game. Okay, that's a better layup. So the first one was left hand, left stick. The second one was straightforward. Yeah, if you're going up with Jimmy, don't do same side layups unless you want to get blocked. See his cradle. Very nice cradle layup. He has a speed up on his cradle layup, which is weird. Yeah, good cradle layups. So if you're going same hand, I would advise the cradle layup over whatever animation that is. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely say with Jimmy, he's a great dunker. Just don't do layups with him. Don't bother. He's got some bad layup animations. He's gonna piss you off. Oh, terrible Euro step. My God, he has F tier layup animations. These are horrible. Let's see that hop step. Not a great hop step either. Yeah, I think with Jimmy, you're gonna go for cradles and getting foul calls. And even though Jimmy has a really high dunk rating, he's not wanting to dunk off the hop step. Yeah, he has a very strange hop step package as well. So I don't know. Going to the basket, I don't know how I feel about Jimmy in terms of the versatility. Let's just see the outright dunks. Excellent dunk. Excellent dunk. Keep the ball away from the defender. Obviously, you don't want to do that defender side. Another excellent dunk. So thankfully for Jimmy, he has a high dunk rating and great dunk animations, so you don't have to deal with his terrible layup animations. And he's 6'8", so you should be trying to dunk on everybody anyway. Yeah, I mean, that was a fancy dunk. He did the same one, kept the ball out of the way. Look at a couple more dunks. Yeah, Jimmy has an excellent dunk package. Very he's got a couple of those LeBron dunks in there, which is great. Very safe dunk package. I would actually say he has an elite in-game dunk package, so that's going for him. So he should be great going to the basket, honestly, because again, he's a 6'8" character with 93 speed and 90-something dunk. Let's glance at those ratings real quick. See what they look like with the coach boost on. So these are his coach boosted ratings. 87 in the mid-range, which is why he was greening so much. So again, still good. It's just understanding that Kawhi is a 92. All right. It's 5 more. It matters. You can throw a shoe on him if you want to do more. He said, "Is Mazique doing all right?" Yeah, Mazique's fine. Mazique's fine. He's probably playing my team right now. He's got a 97 3-pointer. Although I will say, Kawhi has a 94 3-pointer. It's a 3 points difference above 90, so it's really not a difference at all. Kawhi is probably a slightly better shooter because his release is borderline cheesy. Although Jimmy's is very fast, so I would imagine if you master Jimmy's release, it's probably a pick'em. Probably a pick'em. Driving layups are 99. He does have that high draw foul, so that's what you're going to be going for when you go into the basket. You want to do those cradle layups and stuff like that. So the driving dunk, even with the coach boost, is at 85. Good enough for you to get contact dunks, and with his dunk package, that's something you should definitely be going for. 90 ball handle, which we could see he has a really important doing that step back move with the quick first step. Some people think that 86 is good enough. It is, but the problem is once you get tired or you get bumped or people have like clamps and stuff like that, having that, or you miss a couple of shots, you get cold, you don't want to lose your dribbles immediately, right? So if your rating can get boosted above an 86, that would be ideal. So that's why cards like Oladipo, even though I think the card is fantastic, it is something to understand that you're boosting him to 86. So when those boosts aren't in effect, when he gets, if you miss a couple of shots with the character, and you don't have access to the same dribbles, you're going to have to look for offense through somebody else. Whereas Jimmy, he's never going to have to worry about that. He's always going to be the same offensive card because, look, if you get that cold, you're probably losing anyway, right? If you get like legit cold. So just the rest of his boosted stats, again, his post phase at 82, I wouldn't rely on it. Rebounding, nothing to write home about, but the perimeter defense is just positively insane. So yeah, so Jimmy should be a great card. I would say that if you guys take anything from this video, it's that Jimmy's step back is so elite that you should revolve your offense around that. If you revolve your offense around his step back and his Hall of Fame quick first step, he's phenomenal. He's 6'8". He can play the 2-guard position, which is huge. He's the second tallest 2-guard available, I believe, behind are there any 6'9" 2-guard? Is Tracy McGrady listed as 6'9" in this game? Paul George is 6'9". Yeah, and Paul George is gigantic. So he's probably, I mean, some people are coming off of the Paul George card. I don't see why. I've been killing with that card. I think he's still really, really amazing. And if a pink diamond Paul George comes out, I'm running, not walking to that card. But yeah, I would say he's like a more athletic version of that, basically. But the Paul George card, I believe he can do the teleport. All right, so yeah, great card. Definitely for the price that I got him, 100K, I recommend it. I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm going to sell this card. I'm not super deep at the 2-guard position, especially for larger 2-guards. I'll see how that Brandon Roy feels. I should have him by some point this weekend, unless the Dwight Howard trials are just that difficult. So I'll have the final verdict on whether or not I'm keeping Jimmy. But I think at 100K, he was perfectly at value. He's definitely worth 100K. With the exception of, like, if you're going for two-way cards, with the exception of Kawhi Leonard, you probably can't do better than this card, to be quite honest with you. So that's it. I hope that was informative for you guys. Thanks for the likes and again, the new subscribers and the views. I will see you guys back here with a Derrick Jones Jr. Deep dive. All right?